When you get yourself into the media, get a little bit of free exposure, a bit of free PR, it's a bit of a woohoo moment in business. So, what we're talking about on the podcast today is how that is really just the beginning of your marketing journey that you need to take once you have got yourself some free PR. There is so much that you can do with that free PR to make it live on. Anyway, that's what the podcast's about today. Can't wait to share the gold. Hey, welcome to the Small Business Made Simple podcast, brought to you by socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Being in business is never easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler. Join me, your host Jen Donovan, every week where we focus on marketing, social media, and working towards simplifying your business. You with me? Let's do this.
Dream it big, 'cause someone out there listening. Everyone's got a voice to give, and it's time I heard you whistling, 'cause there's no point at all, in dreaming small,
Hey there, my gorgeous listener. Welcome to episode 70 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. Thank you as always for lending me your ears today. I know you have lots of choices out there, and I sincerely appreciate you making little old me one of them. If you're a first-time listener, then hey, super welcome. I'd love to know how you found the podcast, but more so than that, welcome. I am so happy to have you here. I am, of course, the host, Jen Donovan, and it's my job via this podcast and social media and just about everywhere else that I hang out to make your business life simpler. Because I know as a business owner that business can be lonely. It can be hard. It can sometimes be really complicated, and it's rarely ever what we'd call easy, but it should be simple, or at least simpler. So that is my commitment to you on the Small Business Made Simple podcast. Today, we are talking about PR. So free PR is what we're talking about, getting yourself into the media and how really that's just the beginning of your marketing. But this week is a wee bit different because you see, I'm not the interviewer. I'm actually the interviewee. My gorgeous friend, Jules has a program and a business called Handle Your Own PR, and she interviewed me about social media and PR on Ticker TV. Now, if you've never heard of Handle Your Own PR or Ticker TV, I have got both the links in the show notes at socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/70 for you to check both of those things out. Jules has always taught me that getting into the media is actually easier than you think, and it definitely is. I write for a couple of national magazines consistently, but I've always said to Jules that getting published is just the beginning of your repurposing journey. Now, if you are curious about how you can get yourself into the media, how you can get some free PR around your business, around what it is that you do, then I really would love you to go back and check out episode 14, where I have actually interviewed Jules about getting free PR for your business. This is Jules' jam. She lives and breathes getting yourself free PR just like I live and breathe social media and marketing. So you'll find that episode at socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/14. It was a little while ago that we recorded it, but I promise you it's just as relevant now as what it was back then. So, of course, like I said, Jules has interviewed me for Ticker TV, so I have repurposed. You see what I did there? I have repurposed this TV interview and taken the audio from the video and turned it into my podcast because I really want to share this gold with you as well. Now, I have to say that I am loving being the interviewee on this because it's not often I get to sit on that other side of the fence, and you'll probably hear more about my story than you might already know, because on your own podcast it's really hard to talk about yourself and your journey and different aspects of your life. So you'll probably learn a little bit more about me being the interviewee. It's a little bit easier, so I really hope you enjoy. But more than that, I would really like to encourage you to get yourself some free PR. Get in the Women's Day magazine. Get into a national newspaper. Maybe it's the Entrepreneur magazine that you've always wanted to get into. Whatever it is, get out there and share your expertise. Again, go back to episode 14, check it out, And really, just maybe, that's really great English, isn't it? So maybe this is your time. Maybe it's your time to get yourself some free PR. I can tell you it is so much easier than what you actually think it is. These journalists are just oozing to get great content. So, of course, when you do, there's some tips in this little interview to keep your PR living on, to making sure you are harnessing it for all that you could possibly get from it. It's just not about getting into a magazine. It's about all the things that you can do afterwards. So enjoy. I hope you enjoy this little episode. I really enjoyed doing it. And it's really just two friends, Jen and Jules, having a bit of a chat about social media and PR marketing.
Hi and welcome to Handle Your Own PR, the show that's all about how PR works for small business owners. Now today I am going to talk with Jen Donovan, who is a social media and marketing coach, because I believe that PR and social media work really well together, and I know that Jen has done a little bit of her own PR as well. So welcome to the show, Jen.
Thanks, Jules. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here in this amazing studio in the middle of Melbourne for a little country girl. So it's great.
Well, it's just great that you have come down to talk to us today.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very pleased about that. So firstly, tell everyone a little bit about what it is that you do.
Thank you. So I have a business all to do with social media and marketing. I do private coaching, but probably what I'm most passionate about is doing workshops with small business owners. So I go,
Right.
I'm from the country. I live about 3.5 hours from here.
We love country girls.
Yeah. And so I do workshops everywhere from Bendigo to Griffith.
Right.
And just talk to small business owners and just trying to teach them a little bit more about social media. I find that some small business owners are so, I haven't got time, it's all too hard, I don't know how to start.
They don't understand what it might do for them.
And so if I can just give them just a little bit more information for them to go, now I get it. And they try a little bit and then they try a little bit more. And before you know it, they're in love with social media. Maybe not quite as much as I am, but, they learn the power of it.
So how did you get into this? Because I know that you were in retail for a while, weren't you?
Yeah, so I had a retail shop with my best friend, and we're still best friends, even though we had a business.
That is a great sign.
It certainly is. And it was there probably where I found my passion for marketing and social media, because my background's actually in law. I did law for 20 years.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realise you were a lawyer.
Yeah, so then, as the story goes, my best friend and I had way too much wine to drink one night, and we decided to buy a shop. I don't know why. She was in disability sector and I was in law, but that's what we did. And that's probably where it ignited my social media and marketing. But kind of back then, Facebook was really easy to get traction on. It was kind of only new.
Back in the heyday.
Yeah, it hadn't been ruined by algorithms. And so I knew what it did for my business. And so when we sold it, which we had it for about 7 years, we sold in 3 days, which
is amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, especially in the country, awesome. I would think that is particularly amazing.
Yeah. So, it's not about marketing, but certainly location does count. But yeah, and so then when I sold that, I just wanted to pass on my knowledge. I just wanted other small business owners to realise what marketing could do and what social media could do for them to grow their business.
I just think that's such a great premise for starting a business. So,
wine?
Yeah, well, yes and no. We won't get into that in any great detail. So tell me, unusual question, because I don't know. I don't often sort of think about this, but do you have favourite platforms, or what platforms do you think belong with what kind of businesses?
Yeah, for me, my favourite platform is actually LinkedIn. I
am
LinkedIn.
with you. I love it too. In fact, I got this whole Ticker TV gig from a LinkedIn post that Aaron Young, who owns the station, had put out there saying, I'm looking for people to interview. And LinkedIn just offers fantastic opportunities.
Yeah, so for anyone watching or listening who thinks social media can't give them anything, that's a prime example. One post and you've ended up doing this, and it's just amazing. So, but I love LinkedIn, because it's I call it professional Facebook.
Right.
So, you know, there's no nasty people on there, or there's not many nasty people on there. Everyone's on there for business, so they've got that mindset.
That's right. You don't have to, I always feel on Facebook that you have to be really delicate about business because people are always like, don't promote yourself, don't do whatever.
And people are on there
so
to
you've
see
got to
what
dance around it a little bit, whereas in LinkedIn you can just go for it.
Certainly Facebook, people are on there to see what their friends and family are doing. And, you know, if you get some traction by business or for your business, then that's awesome. But LinkedIn's, you know, they're focused on business. And it's a great place to connect with people and connect with people that maybe you wouldn't normally get to connect with.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they're adding more and more bells and whistles to LinkedIn.
Well, I think
as well,
Microsoft bought it. I hope that anyone watching this, you know, I think that's pretty right. I think they bought it, and so therefore they're investing in it quite a bit. But I have a podcast. It's called Small Business Made Simple. I put a new episode out every Thursday, and I've reached out to so many people on LinkedIn and said, hey, could I interview you for my podcast?
Yeah.
People that would charge $1,000 to spend an hour with them, and I get an hour with them for free, and I also get to share it with my audience. So that's why I absolutely love LinkedIn. But it is very much probably a B2B, business-to-business platform. Business to consumer, it hasn't really got, like, you don't hop on there to buy earrings.
And I think it's also morphed from being a job search kind of platform, which I know that it still is, but for other people, you know, it's a great way to get your message out there. Particularly, there's a lot of experts and coaches out there sharing content and things as well. But let's talk about PR, because this show is called Handle Your Own PR. Bringing it back now. So firstly, I know that you have done a little bit of PR for yourself. Can you tell us what that was like?
Yeah, so I have done some PR. I've got into some national magazines, and the training has sort of, the push has come from you, Jules, certainly, because we've known each other for a few years.
I'm such a big advocate for everyone should be doing it. So.
And it was kind of one of those things, and I think a lot of small business owners and even medium business owners have the same mindset of, oh, they wouldn't want to hear my story, or they wouldn't want to hear from me, and it was that
push.
Yeah, from you to go, no, these people have to create. There's an enormous amount of content every day or every week or every year. And so I submitted a few articles, and lo and behold, they got taken up.
Which is fantastic. So now to bring that back to how PR and social worked, what did you do with them once you got, so you get published, which for a lot of people, they feel like that's the end of PR. Like, all I want to do is get published. Yeah. But to me, the beauty of PR is what you can do after you've been published.
Absolutely.
So particularly on social media. So I'd really like to sort of explore that a little bit.
Certainly. One of the things that I did was, and it's not quite on social, but it does lead to social, was turned it into a bit of a blog post and had that link out from my website. So, you know, links help with SEO and things like that.
Absolutely.
But there from then, because you've got a blog on your website, then you can share that blog on social media sites
and say, here's the article that I've written, and then have people go back to your website to increase the website traffic for it,
and certainly, and taking quotes out of it and making little quote cards on Canva. You know, it's my absolutely favourite platform.
It is mine too. I love it for that, and I love anyone sends me, you know, a little short testimonial going, oh my God, I love what you do or whatever. I'm like straight onto Canva, straight out into
and
LinkedIn.
It makes me look talented, and I'm really not, so it's just great. But so you can turn, like, you know, little snippets of your PR article into a quote, and then you can repurpose it on social again with either the link to the magazine or the newspaper that you actually got published in, or a link back to your website, again driving traffic.
And also gives you a lot of credibility, because you're then saying, you know, this isn't me talking about me, this is someone else talking about me, and people will sort of sit up and take notice. But tell me, I've always thought that the algorithms on social media somehow or other push those posts with media clippings out further. So is that true, or am I imagining things?
Look, I honestly do not know the answer to that question.
We should experiment.
Yeah, we should, definitely.
Because when I put out clips that say, you know, a podcast episode, when I was on your podcast, or media clippings, and I put them out into social media, I feel like I get 4 or 5 times as many views. And as many likes.
Yeah.
Maybe not the comments, but then that's if I'm doing it on Facebook, you know.
Likes and comments are probably your audience. Views are probably the algorithm. So if you're getting more views, then that probably would be the algorithm working with the likes. Of course, the more people that like it, the more feeds it gets into, and so on and so forth. But so that's for, I guess, taking it back a little bit. to have a goal of what you want the PR to do for a start before you even start it.
Yeah, you've got to have it.
Yeah, so that's kind of a bit of marketing speak coming out of me, but my goal was to set up my expertise, and that's where I see social media and PR really working so well together is, you know, setting yourself up as that expert for the audience, and perhaps someone who doesn't know you. It gives you so much more credibility that they may just click a link that they may never have clicked before because you've been published in X, Y, and Z. Yeah.
And then, of course, like you say, it also does help your SEO because and I don't know whether that is also part of why Facebook or LinkedIn push it out further, because if you get those links that are backlinks, and a backlink, for anyone who doesn't know, is when a newspaper or any other website basically puts your web address on it, encouraging people to click on it and go back to your website. And those backlinks, I think, are how Google really kind of, you know,
is one of the little
values
ways
or ranks your business.
One of the things that are ranking. But I had a little experience just the other week where I was Googling something. I actually wanted a picture, and I thought, I'll just have a bit of a Google with the keywords, and this thing popped up and I was like, oh, what's that? I clicked on it and it was my article from like 4 years ago with those keywords on it. So even though I wasn't actually looking for my own article, but if anyone else put in those keywords, then I think it was like the second or third top thing in the Google search. So again, it lasts forever. Like
it does, and I often say to people, Google your name, because we hardly ever do that. And when you Google your name, you'll start to see whether you are building up, you know, all those articles that are mentioning you that you've written will all start to fill up underneath your name until you've just got pages and pages, which is basically just, you know, proving to people your credibility. So do you think that there's a best practice in social media for how to push out PR? Would you always put it into a blog first and then push out the blog saying, if you want to read the article, go back to my...
I would probably always push the publisher first.
Right.
Yeah. So putting
Give us
it
an example. What do you mean by that?
So if I got, like, for instance, I get published in the Australian Retailer magazine. So I would share their post first because it's talking about me. It's got their logo, their branding. It's my credibility. First of all, I would share that.
And then would you actually also put a post up on their page saying something like, thanks so much for being published? And
and anyone who comments on that, I would go and make sure that my name is there commenting back, thanks so much, yes, and engaging with whatever their question is.
You gave me a brilliant tip about that, and I want you to tell everybody who's watching what that tip was. So, because I actually have done a couple of posts in the last week that have started going off, which is great. But what was your tip that I thought was so clever? So I think everybody should know that if anybody comments on your post, you always want to comment back because it'll just bring it back up to the top of people's feed.
And it's only polite. You wouldn't walk into a party and someone spoke to you and you would just walk
and
straight
someone
past
said, you're
them.
awesome, I love this article. And you go, I'm ignoring you.
Whatever. But yeah, so what I was talking about was trying to trick the algorithm, and basically say you had 10 comments on a post, then maybe go and answer 2. And then maybe go back in an hour or two and answer a couple more and do that sort of rolling over rather than going and answering all 10, because every time, you know, you have interaction, it pulls it back up to this the top of people's feeds.
Right, and if you did 10 after one after another, you're going to go up to the top once.
Yeah, unless of course you ask.
Inspired.
Unless of course you ask a question back to them and then they answer again, then you know you can kind of roll it that way. But it's just one of those little tricky things to trick the algorithm. There's not many tricks left.
I was just going to say, have we got any other ones that you can but save that and I'm going to hit you up with that afterwards. So in terms of, so we were going back to what do you think is best practice for somebody who's managed to get published? Maybe it's let's say they've got a TV clip as you're going to have at the end of this show. What will you do with it?
So what will I do with it? Oh, goodness. I will do so much. And over a long period of time as well. These things just need to keep living on.
Right.
You know, we need to repurpose these things. So first of all, I will, of course, share the Ticker TV and anything that you share and anything that Aaron, the owner of the channel, shares type of thing on the platforms. And then hopefully I will make some little clips out of it. So, you know, and that's probably to share on my stories, because even though I love LinkedIn, Instagram stories is where there's so much movement at the moment.
I do not understand Instagram at all. Unfortunately, my son's overseas at the moment and he's only posting on Instagram, and I literally have to go on going, how do I even see? I mean, because it's not obvious to me anyway. I guess because I'm such a Facebook and LinkedIn person, I find Instagram quite strange.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Instagram, what did you say? It was Instagram stories.
Instagram stories. So I would do, and I think you can do, I don't think, I know.
I'm glad, because you are a social media expert.
So they're 15 seconds, but you can sort of collectively do maybe a minute, so you can get sort of 4 like a minute clips. So the highlight or one particular point that I was trying to make, and then link back. You know, this would a link to this would go in my Instagram bio, so it's kind of like, you know, link in bio, so that if people wanted to watch the whole episode, they could go and find that by finding that link.
Right.
But it's kind of, and then
what would you do on LinkedIn?
So what would I do on LinkedIn? Again, I would share the posts first that have been shared, because it's other people talking about me, so it's that credibility build up. And I would probably share those same little clips, just with a different tone over them. So on Instagram, it's all about the stickers and, you know, sound on and things like that, whereas on LinkedIn, I'd perhaps write, you know, a little bit of a piece to make people click.
All right,
but I would
now,
also make sure they have captions.
Right, so hold that thought. I'm going to hit you up and find out a bit more about captions in a minute. We're just going to go to a break, and we'll be back shortly, in whenever time, shortly with Jen again, to keep talking about social media and PR.
This is Ticker.
Welcome back to Handle Your Own PR. My name is Jules Brooke, and this show is all about PR for small business owners and tips and tricks along the way. So today I have Jen Donovan in here with me. She is a social media and marketing specialist, coach, I should say. And we were just talking about captions before. So tell me a little bit more about captioning images.
I guess I was alluding to that when we put videos up on social media, so many, and I think the last statistic I read was 65% of us watch social media on silence. So if we haven't got captions on our video, we've gone to all
this... Oh, you're talking subtitles.
Yes,
right.
Subtitles on our video. So if we've gone to all these trouble to make these little video clips or do some, live videos or something like that, putting captions on them just gives them...
Something I often forget. But I know if you put it up on YouTube, it'll do it for you.
Yeah,
you get the opportunity to edit, but it'll do it completely free and quite quickly for you. So then you get to go in and sort of edit any of the words. How do you do it?
And you know what? My brain is going berserk. I can tell you exactly where the app is on my phone.
But you can't think what it is.
What the app's
So
called.
there's an app that actually does that for you?
Yeah, there is an app. So one of them is Mix Caption. So it's a little app. It is a paid sort of platform, but there is a free app, and it might come to me.
Yeah,
if it comes to me, I'll let you know.
If it does, that's absolutely fine. So let's start talking about what are some of the common mistakes that you see people making on social media, or amongst your customers you've seen things that people are doing that they could just tweak slightly and it would make a massive difference. Can you think of anything?
Yeah, probably the biggest one is, talking about themselves.
Yeah. Which is the same with PR, I'd say. It's not about you, it's about them. It's about the audience.
Yeah, it's about who you're trying to serve, who your customers are. And so people who put up posts, I, or we, it's kind of like that old age saying of, people don't care who you are until they know you care. So until they know that you're the person who can solve their problem or delight them, or whichever way you want that to go, we've got to start talking in the language of our buyer and solving their problems, or giving them pleasure, I guess,
and tips or advice and things, right? So and it's the same with PR. A lot of people get really nervous about the idea of pushing themselves out there, but there is a very easy way that you can do in social media and in PR, which is take your expertise and go and share it with people. Go and help people not make mistakes. Go and help people find certain things, or top do's and don'ts, whatever it might be.
And give your best away.
Yes, that is so true.
It's people say, but if I give my best away, what will they pay me for? And I'm like, they'll pay you whatever you want, because they will love you so much, and they know that you're the person for them.
That's right.
Because they think, oh my gosh, if that's what I get for free, what am I going to get when I, actually hand over the cash?
And I often say to people, because there are people as well who go, but it's my IP. I don't want to give it away. And I think that there is a genuine fear that people will take that and go and do it, and somehow or other do them out of work, or I'm not sure what. But I think the reality is that, again, if you read an article where, I write articles where I go, this is how you do PR. Here are the 6 steps. This is what you do. I know that somebody could follow it and go right the way through it and do it, but it's far more likely that they're actually going to look at the article and go, wow, that person really knows what they're talking about. I'm going to get them to teach me.
Absolutely. Like, I don't do people's social media for them, but there is a lot of social media managers out there.
Heaps.
Because I can teach people till the cows come home how to do it, but there'll be a certain amount of the population that will go, I can see the benefit of it, but I haven't got time. Who can I get to do it for me?
Yeah.
And can I just leave a little hint that it's not your 19 or 16-year-old daughter or son to do it for you? Like, they may know social media, but quite possibly they know
the messaging.
TikTok or Snapchat more so than they
And
know
they'll be
how
like,
to...
oh, you should be on TikTok. Everyone's on TikTok. And you go, yeah, everyone who's 18 or 16 or
11.
13-year-olds. Yeah, exactly. What other mistakes do people make with social media? Do you think maybe putting the wrong message on the wrong platform?
Talking to the wrong buyer, yeah, definitely on the wrong platform. Like, the language that you use on LinkedIn is quite different to the language you use on Instagram, for instance. Like, Instagram is fun. It's, it's where personalities shine, but maybe perhaps because LinkedIn is professional Facebook, that your talk is a little bit more professional. Maybe your photos that you use are a little bit more professional. Now, that's a really good
example, because I think on Facebook or Instagram you'd be doing the slightly more casual shot, but almost everyone in business certainly has got that classic headshot of themselves in a suit or whatever. That's really the shots that you use on Instagram. And actually, I do a lot of public speaking, and I use my shots of myself up on stage.
Yep.
And you see that time and time again. It's about, positioning yourself as being that expert and using the social media to kind of take you up to the next level. It's all smoke and mirrors, as it is with PR, with everything, isn't it, really?
It is.
It's about how it looks. It doesn't even have to be the truth. It just needs to be the perception of you as, an expert.
Yeah.
So, and I know with PR, one of the things that people do is make it way too commercial as well, because you have to understand that in social media and PR, which are so similar in their messaging, firstly, it's about them, but secondly, you don't go out there really talking about we've launched this or we've done, unless you can tell me why that's going to make a difference to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And PR and social media is quite similar in that sometimes they're the long game.
Yeah, that's right.
You might get an article in the, a national magazine or a national newspaper, and it may not make the phone ring. It may. That would be awesome.
And it does sometimes, but sometimes it's just
sometimes it is the long
building
game.
that slow amount
expertise.
of credibility. And then it'll just tip at some stage.
Definitely.
Cool. So have you got any other tips that you could offer? Because I know that you, when I saw you speak in Deniliquin last year or earlier this year, and just thought you were amazing. Have you got any sort of tips that you can share with people about social media and what they could be doing?
Yeah, I think one of the other mistakes people make is not showing their face.
Right.
People want to know who's behind the brand, and I totally understand that people, I don't want my face on social media, or, I don't like myself on video or anything like that. But one of my friends, Sam, gave me some really great advice that actually made me cry at the time, but it was one of the best pieces of advice I think I've ever got. And I was complaining about video. I hate the way I sound on video. I hate the way I look on video.
Yeah.
And he pulled me up and he said, Jen, you look and sound the exact same on that video as what you do talking to me right now. Now, that was kind of devastating, but also made me go, okay,
That's right.
I'm just me. That's just the way it is. So I think people need to put their face out there. They need to put their team out there. People want to know the people behind the brand.
And video, I think, is another
Yes.
great thing where you do.
And up level to that is
is
live, of course, but that's a whole other level of confidence and things like that. I definitely recommend that people do try live if they never have. And
also because live again with the algorithm. So my understanding of it, and it's very basic, basic, is that Facebook is really wanting everyone to go live. So nowadays, at the moment anyway, if you do a Facebook Live, they'll push it out.
They will.
To everyone in your audience rather than the 3 people that they otherwise like to do.
Yeah, no. And live has been, quite king for quite some time, but people just aren't sort of, I guess there's nerves behind it. There's people are kind of like, what will I say and what if I stuff up and things like that. But the reality is we all do it.
Yeah, and I mean, when it comes to video, I had one of my guests came on. She said, I absolutely hate myself. Is it going to be edited beforehand? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, no. I said, do my trick. Just don't watch it.
Yeah.
Record it, do it, push it out, but you don't actually have to watch it if it's going to make you feel awful.
Yeah, no. So I guess, Jules, a question back to you.
Oh, yes.
So, you've encouraged me to do some PR, and I have, and it's something definitely on the 2020 goal list to do a lot more.
Yeah.
But you gave me some really great advice about pushing out articles with PR. Can you just share with everybody, some of the tips and tricks of getting over, like I say, people are nervous about being on video, and people are nervous about putting themselves out on PR as well.
And so, one of the things that I would say to people firstly is that they absolutely need to understand how much the media needs content. So I think a lot of people feel like it's going to be cold call selling or something. You're going to ring up or you're going to be sending an email and they're going to be going, oh my God, how do I get rid of this, annoying person? It's not like that at all, because every single story, or pretty much every single story you read in a newspaper or a magazine, has been suggested to that magazine by someone else. And one of the other things which I know you've found is you write a complete article as if you are the journalist. So if you're writing to the media, you're not saying, hi, will you do a story for me? You're going, here are my 5 tips about how to use social media with PR. They will go, wow, that's really well written and I like it. I'm going to put it in, and I'll put in a little credit at the bottom that says Jen Donovan wrote this. She's an expert in social media and marketing, and to contact her you can go to wherever.
Yeah.
And I think people think that sort of thing is where you put it on LinkedIn or on your blog, but my suggestion to everyone is push it out to the media first.
Yeah.
Because where's the downside? I mean, to me, if you're going to put it in your blog anyway, why not put it out to the media, and chances are they'll pick it up, which will look great in your blog.
Yes.
And if they don't, you're no worse off. You can just stick it in your blog anyway.
Yeah, and I must admit, when I pushed out articles to the media, the worst that's happened is someone's written back and said, thank you so much, it's not quite right for our audience.
That's right.
No one died.
No, and the other thing that you can do in that instance is say, okay, would you like me to rewrite it, or do you want me to tweak it slightly?
Okay, yeah.
Now, Stella Gianotto, who was on last week, was saying she now puts that in her first sentence to the journalist. Please find my article about such and such. If you would like me to change it or tailor it more to your market, let me know and I will do that for you. And she said 9 times out of 10 they do ask her to tweak it slightly or to put a slightly different angle on it, but they get it picked up.
What a fantastic tip.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now, I am going to have to say goodbye because this is the end of the show. I know. 1 minute we're thinking, oh my goodness, it's going to be ages, and the next it's like, it's over already. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have enjoyed my interview with Jen Donovan. Jen, just quickly tell people, if they want to find you, how can they find you?
Well, I hang out a lot on LinkedIn, so Jen Donovan, 2 N's.
2 N's.
I have a podcast, Small Business Made Simple podcast,
Right.
if anyone's into podcasting. Otherwise, my website is socialmediaandmarketing.com.au.
Well, that's a great name, socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. So thank you all for joining us today, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the Handle Your Own PR show next week.
I really hope you enjoyed that. I certainly, like I said, really enjoyed my chat with Jules. It was just like having a chat with your best friend. For those of you who might be interested, Jules does have a business called Handle Your Own PR, and being a super awesome business lady that she is, and she's adapted her business for COVID-19 and done a little pivot and is offering some at-home PR classes. She'll not only guide you through the process of getting in the media, but of course, the things that I love the most about Jules's course, other than Jules herself, is that she'll give you the context that you need, all the context that you will ever need to get yourself into some media, no matter what platform, TV, radio, magazines, newspapers. But the other really great things that Jules has is she has journalists that will help you write articles. So she has you Through her course, you will get a journalist who will literally help you write content that national magazines or TV or whoever you're wanting to get onto that will pick it up because they know how it works. That is just so cool. If you're keen, there's a link in my show notes for Jules' online PR accelerator program. But basically go to handleyourownpr.com.au/online PR accelerator. That's all you need to do. But of course, the link is in the show notes as well. And once you're in, make sure you touch base with me so that we can then work out how you can repurpose your free PR into a marketing plan so that the opportunity is really milked for all it's got. That's all for episode 70. I will be back next Thursday with another great episode to help you simplify your business in 2020. If you're enjoying this podcast, which I'm assuming you are because you've made it this far, I would really love you to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode, and maybe share this episode with another superstar business owner who's doing the daily grind and would really appreciate either someone making their business life a little bit simpler or has always wanted to get some free PR around their business. Perhaps if you've got time, you could leave me a rating and a review. That just means the world to me. And those things are like gold for podcasters like me who are always putting out free weekly content. Massive love coming your way, of course, if you do that for me. I will be back next Thursday for episode 71. But in the meantime, let's hang out and get social on social. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and my favorite, LinkedIn. And of course, don't forget to join the Like-Minded Business Owners group on Facebook. But whatever you do, remember, my small business peeps, as my opening song says, there is no point in dreaming small.
Say it proud, be true, and let us see you for the star that you are. No point in dreaming small.